Welcome to movie number 2. Just to have a look, we've got our cover all sorted here and we're ready to format the text. What I might do is just using the Command plus or Control plus on a PC, just to zoom up a little bit. Let's go and start deciding on what we want for our text. Well, to begin with, I'm going to just remove the text I don't want, so that's gone here. What I've also got is this text is all combined, or it's all together in a continuous flowing text. We're going to go through and build an article list soon, but because we've basically got everything in the same text flow, it makes our articles incredibly easy. Rather than having an article for a heading, a subheading, and then all the bulk of text after that, we can actually basically just have a very simple format, which makes life easier. So having it all in line, your text and objects and everything flying nicely, is just so much easier way to work. So this is a good practice, what we've actually done here. Okay, so let's start formatting the text. Right, I might just double click in here, and for a start, this is going to be sort of a heading. And what I want for the heading here, I'm just going to click through and find, actually I might use, I'm going to use Rockwell for what I want. But again, please feel free to use anything you want. Rockwell here, and I'm just going to go up and maybe make this 18 point. You don't actually want to make things too big, because you can actually get them too big to fit in your document and it's going to start breaking the text. If it is too big when you export your ePub, no problems, just do it again, dropping down your size a little bit. Okay, but as I start putting everything together here, it's also good practice to start formatting into a paragraph. So I'm going to do it, instead of doing it at the end, I think I might just go through and do it as I go, because it's going to make life perhaps a little bit easier. Okay, so in order to do a paragraph style, we come over to the side here. You'll notice that I'm in typography, okay? And when it's in typography, it doesn't look like mine does. You can actually have it in typography and just go back and reset typography, and it will go back to the default. You can actually set your own workspaces, but I'm just using the default ones here. Typography it is, and I want to go down to paragraph styles. Right, so I've got my type selected here. I don't have any styles here. All you need to do is actually click on a new style. We don't want a new folder. We can start doing that if we're getting really complex. We just want to stay easy. But before I click a new style, I'm going to hold my Option key down, or Alt key on a PC. Okay, Option key down, and now I'm going to click on that. Right. The other thing what I want to do is, I've got my preview turned on, but I definitely want to have this ticked, Apply Style to Selection. If it's not clicked, it won't apply it. It will create the style, but you'll have to go and then select it and apply it. So I just want to do it this way to begin with. Okay, so I've got my everything selected, but all I need to do is look up into what's happening here, and it's telling me it's Rockwell extra bold, and it's 9 or 18 point in this case. So I'm going to come up over here, and I'll just give it, I'll call it header. Okay, and that's fine for what I want to do, and I'll go OK. So now I've established a style, and this style is the header. What I want to do now is I'm just going to go through and select my chapter head. Okay, so I don't have to highlight all of it. All I need to do is click anywhere inside that. A paragraph is defined by the return key being clicked before and after, and whatever's in that area that you highlight or just select or just click in will select all of that paragraph. Okay, so but obviously what I want to do is make sure I first set it all, so I will have to highlight initially to set the style that I want to work with. But when you want to change it later on or do anything else, you don't have to highlight it. Obviously do when you want to highlight or select all the text, because you're selecting characters. Okay, so the second one here, I'm just going to use, I might myriad, so I might just type a Y here, and I'm just going to go, I think, to something like myriad Pro, and I just want myriad Pro regular. Actually, I might, I'll click on that, I can always change it here. Okay, by the way, I'm just working on 12 point. That's a good size to work with for this document. Even though it looks too small here, it'll be fine when it goes through into the iPad format. You can always increase the text size anyway. I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to select, I like this font actually, so I'm going to select all of my text just to make this a little bit faster. You can just go shift select, or just instead of scrolling, in fact I might just actually show you that. It's probably an easy way to work without having to scroll through. I've just got it selected at the beginning, and I can actually click here, hold my shift key and go all the way to the end, or I can actually just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, actually just going to select that paragraph anyway, not to worry, and I'm going to go all the way through and hold my shift key, and I might just shift all of that, and now just go back to Myriad Pro. So just MY and down to Myriad Pro, and I'm just going to go, I was going to go regular, so I'll click that in there. Okay, now that's fine, but I want to have a little bit more refinement in there, so I'm going to change it, instead of being 12 on 14 point, that's sort of just a standard default view. I'm actually going to make it 12 on 24. Okay, I want to give it some more room to breathe. Just like when you're reading a lot of text, it does make things sometimes a little bit easier, but it's totally up to you within the design you put together. The other thing that I might want to do is I've got sort of my hyphenation turned on here, so I can actually just click back into hyphenation, and this is simply where you can go through and you can just turn that off by being in your paragraph setting and just go off, and then it's got rid of the hyphenation. Really up to you on how you put that together. Just go back to character again, and of course option key or alt key on a PC, click new, and I'm going to call this, I'm just going to call this body. Okay, and it's telling me what's happening here right through the leading and hyphenation as well. Okay, so apply style to selection, I certainly want that, and I'm going to go OK. So that's my body set. Right, now that's fine, I'll just click off that, and I'm just going to close that for a minute, and let's go back up to the top. See, everything's sort of set there. And you'll probably notice that it's automatically increasing the pages as well, and that's a good thing. So more or less, it's going to keep in control of what we're doing. Well, I want a different heading for my chapters, so this is where I can actually just double or triple click, and it will just basically select everything there. Right, so what am I going to do with that? Well, I'm just going to go back to, I think, a 22 point, and I'm going to go to, let's see if I've got something selected here. I want to go back to my Rockwell, extra bold. I think I'll stay with that. I'll keep it nice and simple, and it's extra bold here, but I'm going to make this 22 point. Okay, it doesn't come up here, so no problems. I'm just going to type 22, and I'm going to leave it on the 24 point leading as well, because I want that sort of a spacing that comes through there. Okay, so 22 point, perhaps I might just drop it down to 18, but I'm just going to leave it 22 for the time being. I think I'll bring this one up to 22 as well. Okay, so I'm just going to show you what's happening here. I'm going to open my paragraph styles. It's actually on the header. See, this one has no setting as yet, and it's 18 point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change this, and just keep an eye on this. I'm going to change this to 22. I think I'll change them around so there's a different proportion. 22, and just click outside of that, and great, that's a better size. And you see my header is got a plus with it. Okay, now I've only got one I suppose piece of type that's using that for the header, but nonetheless, if you had 1,000 to automatically change them all, with that plus you just go up to this little drop down menu here and go redefine styles, and that one's set. Now for my chapter head, I'm going to change this back to, I think 18 was a better size, and just go and click back there. And that's not the body. Notice that's coming up with the body here. So this is where I haven't actually even set that. So what do I do? Option, click, and I call this subhead. So sub head like so. You can name it anything you want, no problems. And here's what's happening here. Apply to selection, and I'll go OK. And here's my subhead. Okay. But again, I made a mistake here. I changed it to 18 point, the wrong one. So I'll take this back to 22. I think it was 24 actually. 24. And I want this back to 18. That's better. But of course, what we've got here is this needs to be redefined. What I'm going to do is just leave it here for the time being because I want to show you why. Okay. I'm going to come back to my next heading as soon as I can find that. I think I've just left 3 here. The text is getting a little bit long. Okay, here's this one. I'll just, as you noticed, I haven't highlighted it. I've just put my cursor in there, and I'm now just going to go to subhead, and there it is. It's set up. And I've got one more, but just before I do that, I'm just going to change that. As I mentioned, it was a little bit large, so I'll just highlight it to change all of it, and I'm going to make this 18. So can I go 18? That's great. Now I'm just going to redefine this, redefine style, and it's gone away with the plus there. But if I just close that and just go back up to the top, remember it was 22 up the top. It's back down to 18 because it was a style. It will change 1 or 1,000, whatever is defined as that style. And then finally there should be one more, chapter 3 here, and I'm just going to go and give that the subhead as well with that new file. Make sure I save it now. Now we're going to start putting our images in here, but there's one more thing we wanted to do, and that was, I think I might give that a section head by itself as well. And I'm just going to call that a subhead as well, just for the end. And I might just return that once more. Go to space. Although we'll see what happens with this. It should, when we define it, go on its own page anyway for the end. But it will only pick up one return unless we put something into the setup when we export it, being paragraph spacing or whatever. Anyway, just getting back to finish off this movie, as I mentioned, we're just going to set up our table of contents. Okay. So, and this is a subhead style. Remember, I'm going to go to my just up under here, layout, and I'm going to go down to table of contents. Not this one, but the bottom one, because we want to create something new. I'm going to go new. I'm going to call this TOC and ePub just to make things nice and simple. And what I'm going to do is essentially, you'll notice that we've got whatever styles we set up available here. I'm going to click on my subhead and I'm going to add it there. Okay, so it's called TOC ePub. It's contents, and we're going to break things with the ePub. I'm not going to worry about any other settings. Just going to make it nice and simple and just go OK. And here it is set up, and then just go OK again. Okay, so that's basically the second movie here. We've got, if I just bring it down to more viewable size, we've got basically our headings and our type formatted as paragraph styles, and we've done our table of contents. Okay, So that's very simple. Okay, so the next stage we're going to put our images in, put anchor points, followed by article, and then we're going to finally export it off.